All right, so let's start with both videos I plan on doing today are good news, but this one is really good news. The other one is just messed up. So, Taliban Deputy Foreign Minister calls for girls' high schools to open, which is great news because that was, among other things, something that the Taliban was really being hammered on, is not letting girls go to school. I mean, they have a lot that they're dealing with, but this was one of the biggies. So, now, why the deputy foreign minister, decided to call for this, I don't know if it's because they realize that they need women to be educated in order to better the country, or if he's just doing it to save his own ass. Let's get to the article. The Taliban's acting deputy foreign minister called on his senior leadership to open schools for Afghan girls, among the strongest public rebukes of a policy that has contributed to the international isolation of its rulers. Now, this says acting deputy foreign ministers, which makes me wonder what happened to the first one. Sher Mohammed Abbas Staniczai, oh wow, who previously led a team of negotiators at the Taliban's political office in Doha before U.S. forces withdrew from Afghanistan in 2021, said in a speech at the weekend that restrictions on girls' and women's education was not in line with Islamic Sharia law. So, that's good to hear. And this guy sounds like, because he was a negotiator, he is actually qualified to do stuff. So that's good to know. Go ahead. We request the leaders of the Islamic Emirate to open the door of education, he said, according to local broadcaster Tolo, referring to the Taliban's name for its administration. In the time of the Prophet Muhammad, that should not be hard to say. Peace be upon him. The doors of knowledge were open to both men and women, he said. Today, out of a population of 40 million, we are committing injustice against 20 million people, he added, referring to the female population of Afghanistan. The comments were among the strongest public criticism in recent years by a Taliban official of the school closures, which Taliban sources and diplomats had previously told Reuters were put in place by the supreme spiritual leader Hibatullah Akhundzada, despite some internal disagreement. The Taliban have said they respect women's rights in accordance with their interpretation of Islamic law and Afghan culture. That to me is an oxymoron at best. I mean, number one, according to your interpretation, that does not mean that it's the correct interpretation. So there's that. And how can you say you respect women when you're telling them that they have to remain barefoot and pregnant? That's not respect. Treating women like human beings is respect. If they choose to live like that, fine. If they don't choose to live like that, then there's a problem. All right. Now I'm centered. And as far as Afghan culture, have you seen pictures of Afghanistan in the 70s? It's not what the Taliban thinks is Afghan culture. So, no. All right. They made a sharp U-turn on promises to open high schools for girls in 2022 and have since said they were working on a plan for the schools to reopen, but have not given any timeline. They closed universities to female students at the end of 2022. So this isn't about Islamic law or Afghan culture. They just don't want women to be educated. Because why say, oh yeah, we're going to reopen and then never do? Unless you never intended to do it in the first place. Because if you truly stood behind the conviction of this is how Islamic law is, then you wouldn't be lying to people. The policies have been widely criticized internationally, including by Islamic scholars, and Western diplomats have said any path towards formal recognition of the Taliban is blocked until there is a change on their policies towards women. Which sounds perfectly reasonable. Unfortunately, the people who are hurting are the Afghan people. The Taliban seem to be used to living in caves, so they should be fine. So, yeah. A Taliban administration spokesman in the southern city of Kandahar, where Halabatullah is based, did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Stanexai's remarks. I'm sure the supreme leader is just thrilled that there is dissent in the ranks. Maybe that's why the previous Deputy Foreign Director is now former, because he said something that the supreme leader didn't like. Or it could be that, or it could be some other reason. But something tells me if they have a supreme leader like Iran, something tells me that this acting foreign director, or whatever they call him, won't be in the job for long. I mean, I guess it's possible that the supreme leader could be swayed. We don't know how hard-ass he is. But if it's anything like Iran, it's not the supreme leader who's going to be changing his mind. But anyway, that's still good news that there's more dissenting voices about the way the country is being run. That's always a good thing. That's a great way for change to happen. I mean, it might take the supreme leader feeling like his job is in danger to implement anything. But it could also be that he might take it under advisement. I have no clue how reasonable this person is. The fact that the Taliban have been insisting on not letting women get educated for the past few years doesn't fill me with hope that this guy is reasonable. But maybe if there's dissent in his own ranks, maybe he will change his mind. Who knows? Anyway, I mean, they did say that it's within Sharia law, so maybe that'll sway him. We'll just have to see. But either way, that is good news. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.